Shalom, shalom, shalom. Barakatah to the Father of lights. Peace and blessings to Yahweh Shai. Peace and power to the throne of King David. And peace and blessings to you out there, Royal House. Here for another message of daily edification from your King and Shepherd, KD. All praises due. Well, the inauguration is a done deal. Orange Man is in the office. So things are moving along. I wanted to break bread with you today. All right. Concerning the Passover. And I wanted to come from the book of Jubilees. All right. And it's the last, if you have the book of Jubilees, it's the last two chapters in the book. And one is regulations regarding the Passover. And then the next one is laws regarding the Jubilees and the Sabbath. All right. And I'll begin reading. It says, remember the commandment which the Lord commanded thee concerning the Passover, that thou shouldest celebrate it in its season on the 14th of the first month, that thou shouldest kill it before it is evening, and that they should eat it by night on the evening. All right. For on this night, the beginning of the festival and the beginning of the joy, ye were eating the Passover in Egypt. All right. It is Yahweh himself who smites all the firstborn, had been let loose to slay all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the captive maidservant in the mill, and to the cattle. And this is the sign which the Lord gave them. Into every house on the lintels of which they saw the blood of the lamb of the first year, into that house they should not enter to slay, but should pass by it, that all those should be saved that were in the house, because the sign of the blood was on its lintels. And the powers of the Lord did everything according as the Lord commanded them, and they passed by all the children of Israel, and the plague came not upon them to destroy from amongst them any soul, either of cattle or man or dog. And the plague was very grievous in Egypt, and there was no house in Egypt where there was not one dead, and weeping and lamentation. And all Israel was eating the flesh of the Paschal lamb and drinking the wine. The use of wine at the Passover feast is attested here for the first time, for the later prescriptions about the 4 cups of wine drunk at the feast of Mishnah, and was lauding and blessing and giving thanks to the Lord, power of their fathers, and was ready to go forth from under the yoke of Egypt, and from the evil bondage. And remember thou this day all the days of thy life, and observe it from year to year, all the days of thy life, once a year, on its day, according to all the law thereof, and do not adjourn it from day to day, or from month to month, for it is an eternal ordinance, and engraven on the heavenly tables regarding all the children of Israel, that they should observe it every year on its day, once a year, throughout all their generations. And there is no limit of days, for this is ordained. Salat. Just jumped, hold on. And there is no limit of days, for this is ordained forever. And the man who is free from uncleanness, and doth not come to observe it on occasion of his day, so as to bring an acceptable offering before the Lord, and to eat and to drink before the Lord on the day of his festival, that man who is clean and close at hand will be cut off, because he offered not the oblation of the Lord in its appointed season. He will take the guilt upon himself. Let the children of Israel come and observe the Passover on the day of its fixed time, on the 14th day of the first month, between the evenings, from the third part of the day to the third part of the night. All right. So, for those of y'all that don't know what that means, when it says from the third part of the day to the third part of the night, all right, the days were broken up into 3 sectors. All right. You had 12 hours to rule a day and 12 hours to rule the night. So that time began at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. From 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that was night. And from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., that was day. All right. So from 6 to 10 p.m., that's the first watch. From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., that's the second watch. And from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is the third watch. Now, same thing for the daytime. 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. is the first watch. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the second watch. And 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the third watch. All right? Now, that is that which the Lord commanded thee, that thou shouldest observe it between the evenings. And it is not permissible to slay it during any period of the light, but during the period bordering on the evening. All right. This was interpreted by the Sadducees and Samaritans to mean between sunset and complete darkness, and may possibly have that meaning there, but by the Pharisees it was understood to refer to the earlier afternoon from 3 to 6. All right. So this all had to be done. All right. The latest you could get it done was between 3 to 6. All right. You got it? This is why Yahushua gave up the ghost at the 9th hour, which is 3 o'clock. All right. And let them eat it at the time of the evening into the third part of the night, anytime between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. The rabbis limited the eating to midnight, and whatever is left over of all its flesh, all right, from the third part of the night and onwards, let them burn it with fire. So you had to eat the Passover sacrifice, all right, between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., but the rabbis back then, they cut it off at midnight. Whatever was left at midnight, you had to roast, you had to burn it up with fire. You couldn't eat no more of it. You had to eat it, the Bible says, in haste. You had to eat it fast, because the death angel was coming at that time. All right? The death angel was coming during the nighttime. This is why Yahushua had to be off the cross, all right, by 6 p.m. So they got him down at, he gave up the ghost at 3 p.m., which is the 9th hour, and he had to be off the cross before 6, because the death angel comes during the nighttime, okay? And whatever is left over of all its flesh from the third part of the night and onwards, let them burn it with fire. Now, the third part of the night is what? From 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. And they shall not cook it with water, nor shall they eat it raw, but roast on the fire. They shall eat it with diligence, all right, in haste. That means they have to eat it fast. Now, this is why Pharisees are not keeping no damn law, all right? You got to roast it with fire, all right? And they're supposed to have the blood involved to sprinkle it on the mercy seat, all right? Its head with the inwards thereof. You got to have the head, meaning you have to have slaughtered a whole animal, a whole cow, a whole ram, okay? And its feet they shall roast with fire, and not break any bone thereof. This is why Yahushua, when he was on the cross, No, none of his bones were broken, because he was a sacrificial lamb. All right. For of the children of Israel, no bone shall be crushed. All right. That's what it says. For this reason, the Lord commanded the children of Israel to observe the Passover on the day of its fixed time, and they shall not break a bone thereof, for it is a festival day, and a day commanded, and there may be no passing over from day to day and month to month, but on the day of its festival let it be observed. And do thou command the children of Israel to observe the Passover throughout their days every year, once a year on the day of its fixed time, right? And it will come for a memorial, well pleasing before the Lord, and no plague will come upon them to slay or to smite in that year in which they celebrate the Passover, and its season in every respect according to his command. And they shall not eat it outside the sanctuary of the Lord, but before the sanctuary of the Lord. And all the people of the congregation of Israel shall celebrate it in its appointed season, and every man who have come upon it its day shall eat it in the sanctuary of your power before the Lord from 20 years old. So you got to be 20 years old to participate in this and upward. For thus it is written and ordained that they should eat it in the sanctuary of the Lord. And when the children of Israel come into the land which they are to possess, into the land of Canaan, and set up the tabernacle of the Lord in the midst of the land in one of their tribes, until the sanctuary of the Lord have been built in the land. Let them come and celebrate the Passover in the midst of the tabernacle of the Lord, and let them slay it before the Lord from year to year. So, how was that being done? Right? Where's the tabernacle of the Lord? Where's the tabernacle? Well, in order for it to be the tabernacle of the Lord, you got to have the Lord there. You have to have a representative that represents all of Israel, all right, in order for this to be valid. So this proves without a doubt that these camps are not keeping any Sabbath day, right? And in the days when the house have been built in the name of the Lord in the land of their inheritance, they shall go there and slay the Passover in the evening at sunset at the third part of the day. And they will offer its blood on the threshold of the altar, and shall place its fat on the fire which is upon the altar, and they shall eat its flesh roasted with fire in the court of the house. Right? It says in latter times the Passover lamb was slaughtered in the temple, but eaten at home. All right? So this is how it used to be done, right? So it says, in a house in Jerusalem, the vast numbers of pilgrims present necessitated this extension, which have been sanctified in the name of the Lord. And they may not celebrate the Passover in their cities, nor in any place, save before the tabernacle of the Lord, or before his house, where his name have dwelt. And they will not go astray from the Lord. And do thou, Moses, command the children of Israel to observe the ordinances of the Passover as it was commanded unto thee. Declare thou unto them every year and the day of its days, and the festival of unleavened bread, that they should eat unleavened bread 7 days, and that they should observe its festival, and that they bring an oblation every day during those 7 days of joy before the Lord on the altar of your power. For you celebrated the festival with haste, when ye went from Egypt till you entered into the wilderness of Shur. All right? For on the shore of the sea ye completed it. So, just a few things to look at here. All right? This is the reason that Yahushua had to fit the he had to fit the mold of a Passover lamb. All right. Now, let's go back up. I begin reading at verse 3. And this is the sign which the Lord gave them, into every house on the lintels of which they saw the blood of the lamb of the first year, into that house they should not enter to slay, but shall pass by it. That's what makes it the Passover. So you had to slaughter the lamb, right? A first year lamb, right? And you had to take that blood and put it on the doorposts, the lintels of your doorposts, right? So when you put that blood on your door, the death angel went past you. Okay? It didn't kill anybody in the house, and everybody in the house, they had safety because you were obedient. This is why when Yahushua was born, he started everything over. That became year 1 because he was the firstborn lamb. All right? And it was only going to happen once. Let me read it again. Verse 3, and this is a sign which the Lord gave them, into every house on the lintels which they saw the blood of the lamb of the first year. Right? This is why Yahushua, when he was born, he was the sacrificial lamb because he fit the profile. He was the Son of the Most High. And when he was born, it was year 1, and he was the firstborn in his family. All right? He was the best of the best, and he was sacrificed. All right? And when his blood was shed, everybody that believed in that blood of the Lamb of the Father himself, everybody that believed had that blood, that sanctifying blood, all right, put over their hearts, not their doorposts now, their hearts. Your belief sanctified you from the death angel that was to come. Now, when did the death angel come during the time of Egypt? Well, it came at midnight. It came at midnight and went all through Egypt, and it killed the firstborn of everything that was there in Egypt. Firstborn baby, firstborn calf, firstborn dog, whatever. If it was a firstborn, it was dead. Because the Most High, he collected that for himself. All right? He is the first partaker of the fruits. That's what happened. Now, Yahushua, when he spilt his blood and you believed in that blood before he went to the cross and then he shed it, that was you putting that blood on the doorpost of your heart. And when you did that, it's going to exempt you, all right, from the death angel because you believe. Now, it meant 2 different things, okay, from Judah and Israel. For the southern kingdom, all right, you know that the death angel will pass over you because you understand this truth and you got this truth, right? So because you get it, you understand it, and you're obedient, number 1, and you're in the house, you got to be in the house. The scripture says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. You got to be in the house of the Lord to not be killed when the death angel comes. All right? You got to be in the house. And what makes you be in the house is that you listen to the Comforter, you listen to the Father himself on earth, and you agree with what he's teaching you, all right? And that puts you in the house, and because you're in the house with your heart covered with the blood of the Son, that protects you from the death angel. There's no other place where you can be safe. All right? So, knowing that, all right? Knowing that, what are you doing with it? All right? How many people have been here that claim to have the blood of the Lamb, all right, on their hearts, but they're no longer in the house? Now, For Israel, all right? For Israel, that was for Judah. Judah's proof is he's going to wake you up. He's going to quicken your spirit to this truth. And you're going to listen to the Most High's representative in earth right now. And you're listening to him. You listen to me. All right? Now, you can talk shit. You can laugh. You can say he's a crack. He whatever. You can do all of that. But I'm telling y'all, make no mistake. This April is the time. And I don't pull any punches now. I got the receipts. This April, you will get what we've been waiting for. All praises. Now, for Israel, which is the northern kingdom, they're going to get woke up at a later time because the Most High does what? All things decently what? And in order. What does that mean? Well, first Judah was preached to from Yahushua himself because Judah worships the Father. And now Israel got preached to by the apostles because Yahushua is their God. Yahushua never came down to talk to the northern kingdom, and the Father never came down to talk to the southern kingdom until now. But see, now it's time for the Father, the husbandman, to be the first partaker of the fruits. That's why I'm here. This is why I'm talking to you. This is why I'm preaching to you, so that you can come with me. You are the first partakers of the fruit. Get it? Now, Israel is going to have a period of 3.5 years. All right? But they have the door, they have the lintels on the door. They have the blood on the lintels of their doorposts as well. This is why the scripture says, go through the city and mark them that sigh and cry for the abominations thereof. It's talking about Israel. Israel is going to, all of those Israelites, northern kingdom, that listen to the apostle Paul, all right, and the other apostles, Timothy, Titus, all of them, all right, all of them that listen and receive Yahushua as their Lord and Savior, because that's their power, is Yahushua. Yahushua is to Israel what the Father is to you. He's your Lord and your God. Now, because they listen to the apostles who are ambassador for Yahushua, all right, they, through faith, now have the blood of Yahushua on their hearts. So now, all right, when we get pulled out of here this April, those that are left out here in the outer courts that don't come to the temple of the Lord mentioned in Revelations, all right, those are the ones who are going to need protection from the death angel. You get it? The death angel is coming after we get pulled out of here. This is why he said, the slain of the Lord shall be many. Okay? When the two witnesses that I taught on last week are dispatched or deployed out into the outer courts to wake up the northern kingdom, those that wake up are going to be protected. All right? They're going to be protected from the death angel that's coming. Now, why is the death angel coming? Well, 2,000 years ago, what happened? Yahushua shed his blood so that everybody can be part of that blood for protection. What happens when the Passover lamb is sacrificed? It's to protect from the death angel. Now, the death angel, this is going to be the third deployment of the death angel. The first death angel came during the time of Egypt, which wiped out Pharaoh's house. The second time was when David numbered the people, and the Most High told him not to, and the Most High said, all right, well, because you were disobedient, David, I'll give you 3 choices. You can have 3 years of famine, 3 months to get slaughtered before your enemies, or 3 days with me? David chose the 3 days. And in those 3 days, the Most High wiped out 180,000 people from Israel for David being disobedient. And the Most High had to stop the death angel, all right, before he killed off everybody. So that was the second time. The third time that the Most High is going to deploy the death angel is coming up. This Passover is when the death angel is going to be released. But he's not going to be released until, all right, until the elect have been sealed. And we do know that the elect of the northern kingdom, not the southern kingdom. We're not going to be out here when the death angel comes. But the northern kingdom that have not woken up yet, that did give their life to Yahushua during the time of the apostles, they will be protected. Everybody else, they're going to be put to death. Then the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right. So the death angel is coming. This is what it's all about. This is why all of this was done. Yahushua died on the cross as a sacrificial lamb so that his blood can be used, all right, to protect those that believe in him from the death angel that the Father is going to release on his nation once again. Now, when you look at what's coming up, you can pretty much see that this is all valid, because look at what's going on. Look at the timing of everything. All right. Look at the timing on everything. Just got a new president. Trump is in. All right. And the Passover is coming. Did y'all see that thing called the parade of planets? All 8 planets are lining up January 25th this week. And guess when they aligned before? April 8th of last year. Okay? April 8th. These are the signs in heaven that it's talking about. So, we got everything lined up. No need to go through it again for what you learned last week about the 8s. Hitting on the 8s. All right? This is it, y'all. So what are y'all doing with it? What are y'all doing? Let the scoffers talk. They're going to find out soon enough. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Ain't nothing going to be funny. A few months from now. We got 3 months. 3 months. A little under now. All right? So, it's already written. And so it is written. So it shall be done. All right? Got another lesson coming up. Y'all sit tight and chew on this. And I'll be back on the next go-round. Peace and power and barakatah to the Father. Peace and blessings to Yahushua, and peace and power to the throne, and peace and blessings to you out there. It's your King and Shepherd, KD, and I'll see y'all on the next go-round. KD out. Shalom.